Well, hello and welcome to Select Talk. My name is Latifa Hamid, and like always, we bring you guests who discuss with us their life's journey, their experience, and how they got to where they are. And today we're seated with Mujib Kasule, a footballer, a director of Proline FC, and he is vying for the presidency of FIFA. Does he have it in him to win the presidency this time around? And I will be talking to him and he will be giving us those answers. Assalamu alaikum, Mujib.
Walaikum salam.
How are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Well, we're glad to have you on Select Talk STV.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Well, first time to have an interview like this with you on STV, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's my pleasure.
So a lot of people know you for the numerous interviews you have done as Mujib Kasule, the director of Proline FC. But who is Mujib Kasule in real life, if you were to describe him as a person?
Mujib Kasule is born and raised here in Mandela. Went to school, Chibuli Demonstration School,
Okay.
I went to Chibuli SS. I went to university here in Ontario for 1 year, then I transferred to a university in the US, Alabama A&M University. Most people know me for my football career.
Yes.
Because that started way back when I was still in primary school. I played all kinds of football, school football, club football, youth football. Played for Uganda Cranes. I played for KCCA. I was actually the captain. I was the captain of my school, Chibuleses. And after that, I went into, when I retired in 2006, 27, I started my own project called Proline Soccer Academy, which later became Proline Football Club. I have done everything there is in football, from being a player, to being a player's agent, to being a football analyst and writer, to being a coach, club owner, FIFA administrator. I was vice president under two regimes. Now I am the coach's instructor, and also I do business in football consultancy, and also I import equipment that people use in football training.
Look at that.
Yes.
All your life seems to be embedded in football, playing it and writing about it and living it literally.
Yes.
So what inspired your journey in football? What inspired you to start playing football in primary?
You know, every Ugandan kid growing up during my days and even now, this is the most popular sport in the country. And every kid plays it in the street, in the backyard. But me, I was lucky that I went to a school that was very passionate about the sport. And they quickly picked me up to play for the school team.
Given your talent for
Exactly.
football.
As well as my P3. I was also lucky that I had a headmaster at the time, Haj Badru. May he rest in peace and God forgive him, because he's late now. He was extremely passionate about football, and at the time he was the chairman of the Express Funds. So he had this in him. So he mentored me, he inspired me. But even before I got to that level, back here in the streets and in the backyards in Wandagea, I had my elder brothers, my friends who I played with, you know. We watched football on TV and we wanted to be like those stars. Uganda at the time had so many good stars. People were always talking about them. My father used to take me to watch the games. He's an Express fan. So I used to move with him wherever Express was playing. So I got inspired by those people that were around me. Because there was too much football around me. Then the more I played it, the more I enjoyed it, the more people put their hands on my back, trying to support me, to push me to greater heights. The more I got better and better, and until now, it's been football after football, football after football in my life, in so many different aspects.
Let's go back to your childhood and the fact that you were so many kids in your family, 9 to be exact. You've told this story before. 9 children this side and 6 children the other side.
I am number 9.
You are
out of 16 and more.
Out of 16. Okay, that's a lot of children.
Yes, and they're more than actually 16.
How did you feel growing up in such an extended family?
It was all good. When you have so many sisters, so many big brothers around you, so it's good. Then me, I got lucky that my family, most of them moved to the UK.
Okay.
And they started sending me football gear, sending me balls, tracksuits. So in my football career, everybody around me has been helping.
Okay.
From my late mom to my father and to my siblings, those that are older than me and those that are younger than me. Everybody has played a part in one way or the other. The young ones will wash my kids. When I go to play, they stand on the side and clean my things. So I've been lucky to have people around me who supported me.
So that's
why I got into youth football to help the kids the same way I was helped or even better. That inspired me to do that.
So the big family came in as a blessing for you when it came to the side of helping you through your football career.
Yes.
Was there any time you felt like you were not being paid attention to very much because 9 out of 16 is quite a batch and your parents had to deal with that big number? Was there a time when you felt neglected by your parents?
No, I never felt neglected. Actually, when you play football, you create a family outside your family.
Okay.
That football family there. The people who support you, the people who watch, the people you play with, the administrators, you create another family. So away from home, I always had another family that was supporting me. But back home, I was always gone. I was this stubborn kid in the family because football takes you places, you play with all these street kids. One day is between two ghettos, Katangu on one side and Chiburu on the other. So the kids who play football, most of them come from such backgrounds. The street kids, the ghetto. So that was my company most of the time because of football. So when I came back home after 7, when everybody is in the sitting room, they've done their homework, had their evening tea, taken a shower, me, I look as dirty as you can imagine. So I enter the house and everybody's like, oh, here comes the footballers, So that was the only, but it was also a good thing. Because the people I played with were from disadvantaged families, as you may call them. And for me, I wasn't expected to kind of live that kind of life. But I did, because at one time, I even ran away from home and lived on the streets.
Did you?
Yes.
What pushed you to run away from home?
I loved that family.
Okay.
Yeah, I told you, you create a family outside football. And because football is such a passionate phenomenon, I felt comfortable being with those people because we played football. They were not going to school, so I say, if you're not going to school, I miss school as well. So I was up there on the street for 4 months.
Oh, that's a very long time.
My parents had taken me to a boarding school somewhere in Wise. As soon as I checked into the school, I checked out. So I hit the streets.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what football has done to me. Yes, so that family outside made me comfortable. But the family inside supported me and they understood that this boy is crazy about football. If he's gone, let him be. I'll be gone. Sometimes I only come back, eat something, lunch, then I go back. Yes, so I was always in and out of the house.
Your experience living out of home for 4 months, how was it? How did it shape you to who you are today?
When I look back, I'm like, how did I do it? But at the time, I was young. I was about 8 years. I was young, but we just enjoyed every minute of life and whatever way it was. Moving about with our handmade ball. Then you meet another group of 6. We play each other in the streets, all kinds of places. Then at night, you're very tired. it doesn't matter where you sleep, as long as you get space to sleep, then respect. Yes, it gave me a very good lesson of life, that these people we see that are disadvantaged, first of all, it's not their own making, but now I feel, I have that empathy, because I understand exactly what they go through.
Hence Proline.
Yes, exactly. And I know that if you see a disadvantaged kid on the street, it doesn't mean he's not smart. It doesn't mean they can't make it. They just need somebody to help them, to guide them, to look out for what makes them who they are. Because everybody has a talent in them, but they need help for them to see where the talent is and to be able to take it out.
Okay.
So that I learned from the street, because there are many boys I was with in the street, and you'd think that their life was not going to end anywhere.
Yes.
But now we are still together, friends, responsible family people.
Oh, impressive.
Yes, but I met them on the streets, and for them, they were coming from very bad backgrounds. They didn't know where their parents were. The war had taken their parents, and they seemed lost.
Okay.
But now they are responsible people, and we are still together. We keep in touch. We're like brothers.
Okay.
So everybody needs a chance, and it's up to us to open our hearts to such people and make sure that we help them get out of that kind of life.
Now there's a concern that passions such as football or music actually keeps kids away from school. But we know that you graduated and got a degree in economics. So what do you have to say about passion vis-a-vis education?
You see, passion is such a powerful thing. It's such a powerful gift that somebody who has passion in something, they can use that passion to break their odds. When I was young, my parents were worried that football would take me away from school. And they actually didn't want me to play. But I wasn't alone. Every kid in the neighborhood, during our days, football was for bayai. So you were not allowed to play because it would derail you. And that was the mentality then. But for me, what helped me is the fact that the schools where I went, the headmasters were passionate about football. And they knew how to help us to balance both. When I went to Chuli, the headmaster then was called Haja Baskawasi. He was so passionate about football. He was a football administrator. He was in charge of even the league in the country. So he knew how to help us balance. So my passion for football helped me because you get scholarship, you go to school for free. The school understood that a footballer is not going to be as passionate as the other kids about books. Okay. So when he comes to class, that's a starting point. Don't demand very high grades of him. You let him be, let him associate. So we were given privileges. We would be allowed to go out of school because they understood that they needed to handle us in a certain way to allow us accommodate those two. And that's why it really helped me. People think footballers are not smart academically. Yeah. But footballers are extremely smart people. Okay. Because football is both art and the science. It's an art and a science. And the things that footballers go through when playing football, you can't do them unless you have a sharp brain. So we're always sharp, but we are smarter in a certain way, different from the normal kids. And if you handle it properly, the smartness you have from football can be used to get the best out of yourself when it comes to the education as well. Definitely. I realized that. So that's how I was able to do it. I played football to the highest level because I played for Uganda Cranes, which is the highest level. I played outside Uganda. I played on a scholarship in the US. Okay. So I was able to graduate in both, if you say. And I believe everybody can, especially when you guide them when they are much younger, such that one does not override the other. When it's time for football, they can give 100%. When it's time for books, they can give also 100%. And we have seen Uganda has many players who went to the top. on the side of the game, and they are now very successful, educated people. We have PhD holders who play for Uganda Cranes. We have people who are engineers in this country, but they play for Uganda Cranes, you know, and they're working for all sorts of big institutions, Uganda Revenue Authority, others are lecturers, but they play football. What we need to do is to make sure that we guide them from an early stage, and that's why I started ProLine, to be able to pick these players up at an early stage, such that we give them these values that they need to take on board.
And you think you've achieved that with ProLine FC? With
ProLine, yes, we have. As a country, not yet, because ProLine is not enough. We need many ProLines in every corner of the country, such that we are singing from the same hymn book, and we are able to accommodate these so many boys and girls who have a dream, both in football and also in the academics.
What do you think is affecting Ugandan football? Not exactly where I want to take this conversation, but I'd like to understand. What do you think is the problem with Ugandan football?
The problem is the problem with Ugandan football is with first, the perception. Secondly, the system.
What do you mean by the system?
Because football, from the onset, it was a leisure thing. People congregate, play, and the others watch. After the game, they go home. Like I said, the perception, it was for certain low-class people, and all that. And that's how it started all over the world. But the game has evolved. Because of the passion around it, it has attracted many stakeholders. The media, the sponsors, the lawyers now, because contracts are being made, is now unemployment. So the game, the football is constantly changing. Even the way it's played, the game itself is constantly changing. But for us in Uganda, we are not changing with the changes that football is undertaking. We have stayed with the same perception, the way football should be carried out. We still have parents that don't want to allow them to play. The administrators are not trained. They are not looking at it as a trainable discipline that you go, you study, either to be a footballer or to be a football administrator. So the system that we have is the natural old system where we don't have professionals to help this industry grow as an industry. And by the way, even government does not look at sports in general as a potential industry. Yet in the outside world, if you've been following, this week there's a big debate. Some clubs want to break away and form their own. And the reason forming that is that they have a 4.6 billion kitty, you know, and they're looking at it as an investment, this, that. But here, we don't look at it as an industry where there's job creation, of course, job opportunities for many different fields. We don't look at it as an economic power that can generate income, not only for the people participating, but also for government. We don't look at it that way. We don't look at sport as a tool Uganda can use as a country to link to the outside world. You know, that's why you see we never bother about hosting these international events.
Of course.
But those people who have developed these industries, they understand that when you host a major tournament here, first of all, you're going to open up your tourism base because people are going to be attracted to it. Uganda, where can we go? What can we do? You can use sports for that. So that perception needs to change. And as soon as it changes, then we can see the other benefits, apart from people going to play to have fun, and also maybe those who are playing to be fitter, because it's an activity. But we need to look at it as something that can create employment for so many youth that we have in Uganda. I'll give you an example now. In Uganda, we have over 1,000 football clubs. But out of the 1,000, about 200 clubs employ the youth. Proline employs 50 people.
Okay.
And other clubs employ more, Express, KCC, Villa, and that is directly, the people that we employ, we pay, we give allowances and bonuses and everything. That's direct employment. Then we have indirect employment when there is a match between Villa and Express. The people who are transporting the funds, they are making money.
Okay.
The people who sell gonja around the stadium, those who sell the kits and everything, the doctors who are treating. So you create so many employment opportunities. But if it is developed, then we can do more. But right now, the government is not even aware that that is football or sports is a potential employer. Yet we have so many youth and we have so much talent in the country, but we haven't connected the two. Why? The perception that football is just a leisure thing. We
can see your degree in economics playing part in what exactly you're saying, because what you're discussing is, and I can see you're quite comfortable when you're talking about football, given your history in football, and that's quite impressive. Now, getting back to, as of course we're almost coming to the end of the conversation, getting back to your personal life, could you take us a little bit through the time when you lost your mother? What age were you, how you felt about it, and how it shaped you as well?
I lost my dear mom in 2012. She lost a battle to cancer. And me and my mom were extremely close. She was my friend. I was her friend. I went to school and finished in 2003 in the US. And I had very big job offers because I did well in school, so many companies wanted me. But I came back to look after my mother. Okay. That explains how close me and her
you
were.
And so
no job, no amount of money would sway me the other way around. Being with my mother was for me everything. And I used to check on her almost 3 times a day. Very early in the morning, lunchtime, before I go to my home. So that was the connection. And she was my bedrock in all my other affairs. When I played football, when I needed something, you know, it was easier for me to go to her. Even after going to my dad, I would still go behind and go to my mom. The difficult things my dad wouldn't allow me to do, or he wouldn't feel comfortable. Like we have a match and we are going away for 2 days. I wouldn't go to my dad to ask for permission, but I would just inform my mom, like, don't worry, you go, I'll tell you.
So how did that loss impact you?
When I lost my mom, a part of me completely got lost. And that a year from that, I was lost. People were seeing me. I was trying to be brave on the outside, but I was on the inside, I was dead. I remember around that time, Proline suffered because I wasn't there mentally to do the things that I was supposed to do. I ignored so many projects that I was undertaking at the time. I almost gave up on life because I couldn't imagine it without her, and here it was. But the good thing is that I know God, and I got closer and closer to God, and that pain started to disappear, and my energy started to come back. The more I went on the side of God, and that really helped me. Of course, you never get used to the fact that she's not there, but you learn to live with that pain, and that's what I'm doing now. Not only me, but for the entire family, she was that strong pillar on which all of us depended. But my family stepped in. My sisters, for me, they played that role. My dad stepped up even more. Up now, he comes to watch Proline matches. You know, he asks more questions. Before, I think he knew that the mother is there, so no problem. But now, we have been able to stitch ourselves together as a family to make sure that we continue to miss her, but we don't stop moving because she's not here.
Well, thank you so much, Mujib. Ladies and gentlemen, that for you is Mujib Kasule. We'll take a short break and then come back and discuss about his family life, his personal family life, and then why he wants to be the FUFA president in Uganda, and if he has what it takes. Stay with us.